So, John, what's up with John Beatty nowadays? What are you doing now that you're kind of on your own a little bit, and you seem to be moving a little more into the art side of things for your own fun? So, tell us what's going on in John Beatty's life nowadays.
Well, of course, we have a glut of conventions that have been keeping me busy, which I'm grateful for. They're a lot of fun. Um, Probably since about 2016, I've been doing about 20 a year. Mostly those get jammed up in the summer months when school's out. So I get to meet a lot of people um, at the shows who have enjoyed the work that Mike and I, or Kelly Jones and I, or whoever and I have produced over the years, and get to interact with them. So that's been a lot of fun, a lot of travel. Uh, so it can be a little bit taxing. And private commissions for collectors is another outlet. As I said before, I want to get into some more personal art, which may include not just pen and ink drawings, but maybe even a little bit of painting. But that's a little bit further away because I gotta. I never was interested in painting that much until recently, like last year. I kind of got interested in finally sitting down and learning how to do watercolor, and I learned a lot. And I still need I still need to learn more. But so yeah, I mean, history has been good in that the jobs that I was lucky enough to have been on have retained their popularity in today's pop culture, if not even escalated more. Um, so that's been kind of a nice surprise because back when we did the work, you you don't expect it to last 30 plus years, um, and to maintain any type of notoriety or fans or anything for that long. But um, it's happened. So I'm thankful for it. I'm blessed by it, and I appreciate all those people that you know still enjoy the work that I've produced. And the work that I am
Yeah, that kind of
producing
leads me
now.
into your convention circuit. I mean, what's it like meeting so many fans of people whose work your life has touched in some way? It must be kind of almost awe inspiring. It's like there's 50,000 people here, and a lot of them are coming here to see the work that I've worked on. What is that like in a nutshell?
It's pretty interesting. I mean, it's humbling, when people come up to the table and whether Mike's with me or not, and they just might tell you, you know, when I saw your name advertised, that's why I came to the show, and it it just, it's very flattering, and it you know it's nice. I don't really know quite what to say except that I don't feel pressure by it. I feel flattered. I don't know what the right words would be, but like I said, it's a humbling experience that 30 some years, depending on what it was, whether it was Secret Wars, whether it was Captain America, the Punisher, the Batman work that I did with Doug Minch and Kelly Jones, which we could do another whole podcast on that sometime,
Mm-hmm.
or video, because we
Nope.
we didn't even touch on that. But I worked 8 years with Doug and Kelly on various Batman projects, which was huge. I mean, that stuff was a lot of fun. I worked with two guys that I love greatly, and we had a blast doing it. So when people come to me at a show and tell me that this was their childhood, and sometimes they have their children and they're handing it down to them. It's like, oh, I'm getting the book signed and stuff like that, but my son, I've given everything over to him or whatever. It's very, it's very interesting to see that, from generation to generation that, no matter even if I wanted to get it off of my back, I couldn't. It's there to stay.
Well,
So
at least you
it's
gave
very
something to
flattering.
posterity, right? So,
Yeah.
so I know the game has changed a lot, but what would your advice be to
Mhm.
anyone who's looking to break into the comic business, be it artist, writer, whatever? Do you have any sage words of advice for them?
Um, it's tough. It's a different business than it was when I broke in. So there's, I don't know the right way to tell somebody how to get in. All I would suggest is to do your best work. And if it's comics is, you know, really something you have to love. You know, I can't stress that enough because it's kind of it's a rewarding job in many ways, but in other ways, it's a very unforgiving uh, job, career, whatever you want to call it. Maybe I would suggest that if you get in, have an exit plan.
It's a harsh
Yeah,
mistress.
I didn't have an exit plan, you know. Um, but yeah, I mean, have a plan. Nobody told me to have a plan. I just I was in and I worked 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 and I worked, and then now I'm not calling them. They're not calling me. I don't know if I would even be interested in a monthly type of job again, to tell the truth. Maybe a mini series or graphic novel, but I think that's pretty much what they're doing now anyway, is most things are done in 4 to 6 issues, and then they're trade paperbacked
I
anyway.
think of them as accidental minis. Really, they get in there.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, when the Captain America, the 3-part Deathlock storyline that we had, for
Hmm.
instance, that you have the cover to. I mean, they just pulled that out of our run and made a trade paperback because it was a popular storyline right there. I mean, that was never in the back of anybody's head that it was going to be collected into a prestige format book. It just was a popular, I believe it was 3 parts, a popular 3-part story. And I guess the powers that be at Marvel, I don't know, I can't remember when the first time it was reprinted as a standalone, almost
Hmm.
graphic novel or whatever you want to call it. But, that's something that was, like I said, nowadays they plan everything. They plan to have an event. And I think that might be faulty. I think that stuff that uh, retains a readership and a following is accidental. I don't think you can manufacture it. And I think there is too much trying to manufacture like a book that has some sort of, you know, big
Hmm.
explosion of fans or something. It's like they try to force feed you stuff instead of letting it happen on an organic type of
That makes
field.
sense. I'll tell you, I watched a lot of your live streams. John does some great inking live streams, and I encourage everyone to check out his channel, of course. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. One of the things you said I thought was great. I think this would be a great piece of advice for anyone trying to get in, at least on the art side, is if I'm trying to quote it right here, is if you're not fast, you better learn to have stamina. So I like that one a lot. But
Yeah, well, I was never like the fastest anchor, so I just had to like put the hours in to dedicate that time to uh, you know, get that page done a day so that you make your deadlines. Um, life does happen and things come up, and you're not going to be 100% successful. And it's a shame that, when life does happen, you can get penalized for being late on a book because, you know, you had a medical emergency or somebody in your family passed away or something. It's like there's a certain level of forgiveness, but it's it's almost like don't push that too far, because in comics you're expendable. It's like you know you're only. It's kind of like that in anything. You're only as good as your last job.
Yeah, I completely see that. So, hey, John, you've been talking to us for quite a while, so I'm not going to keep you too much longer. Before we go, is there anything else you want to share with us? Anything you want to plug? Any of your adventures that you would like to get out there? Just let us know now.
What I'm trying to do this year is hopefully what I started last year was my YouTube channel. I really enjoy. It's another opportunity to interact with fans and maybe people that don't know my work, but maybe they enjoy inking, maybe they enjoy watching somebody draw. So again, I'm trying to be a little more consistent, and I know I just got started back again because I've been renovating my studio here. So I had some downtime and I had to get everything back out. It's still not done. So, but I had to work. So I had to get like my supplies out and kind of make it a mess again. Um, so yeah, I kind of, I enjoy doing YouTube and I enjoy doing live streams and interacting with the people that want to come. I may stream for 2 or 3 hours. If they just want to come for 20, 30 minutes, ask a few questions, let me answer them as I'm working, I love it. It's a lot of fun. And so if you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to, because I'm going to be trying to stream almost everything that I do. Now, it's not possible to do everything, but I'm going to try to do some recordings of work I'm doing, and then I can maybe do a narration over it, or maybe as it plays, I can be live on the channel or something and answer questions as it streams or something, so I can actually watch the chat. If I don't have somebody that can like be a host for me and watch the chat and answer questions, it's hard for me to keep looking back and forth to the chat box and concentrate on the work too. But so yeah, that's just search for me, John Beatty Art, on YouTube, and give me a thumbs up, a sub. Same with David here. I've been following his channel for a while now. Make sure you give him some love. He's doing a lot of good things. He's producing a lot of nice
I appreciate that,
nice
John.
stuff.
I'll have links to all
Yeah,
your
you're
stuff
welcome.
below. I'll have links to your homepage and your YouTube page on there. And it is weird, isn't it? When you get into the YouTube game, you gotta start thinking about, I need to start recording stuff that I don't think I have any business recording. I do it all the time. I go out and work on my
Right.
motorcycle or my truck or the fish tank. I was like, I should be
Hmm.
recording this. It doesn't feel natural. I don't like doing it personally. But it's like this. Someone might
Hmm.
want to see this, and it gives some variety to the channel. So
Right.
it's weird how the YouTube
Oh
game
yeah.
kind of changes how you go about your day-to-day activities.
Hmm. It also helps you. A lot of people are not comfortable
Hmm.
on camera. I think that at one point I would have probably been that person, but since I've been to so many conventions and talked to so many people, I think that doing that has helped me. I know. Look, I know I misspeak. I know I missay certain words and stuff, but that's
Hmm.
part of being human. It's part of just I mean, I'm staring at a camera. I'm looking at you. Uh, and I'm talking to people that I can't see, but they're going to hear me. And but it's I know some people that are just as soon as that camera or they're recording, they freeze up or they can't speak. And
Could you breathe or nod or something so I know you're alive?
it's like I encourage those people to
Yeah, I
just
met a
keep
few
going.
YouTubers like that, and they finally actually jumped in front of the camera. A lot of them didn't even get in front of the camera. They would just stay behind it and narrate. So
Right.
a lot of them have, as they ease into it, they were able to get in front of the camera. So it can actually be kind of a therapeutic thing. It can get you over the unnecessary fear
Yeah.
of people.
And most of the time you just see my hands working on a piece of art. So, it's nice for people, um, you know, uh, to put, maybe they've never met me in person, depending on where they live or if they haven't been to a convention or something. So it's nice that they can put a face with the voice and the hands and whatever, it's, it just seems very natural to me. So, I encourage everybody to, stop by, you know, see if it's your bag. If it's not, hey, I totally understand. But if you enjoy comic art, you might
I
find
mean, I
it
find it
entertaining.
hypnotic myself, and I'm not just sucking up to you because you're on the show or whatever. But I don't know. It's like watching
Right.
Bob Ross. I love watching Bob Ross, and it's kind of the same kind of thing. You got a
Yeah.
real quiet, relaxed narration, some funny stuff, especially when Ron's in the studio there and going back and forth,
Mhm.
and it's
Right.
just great to see something kind of take shape in front of your eyes slowly, and see how the game is done. So John, I really want to thank you so much for your time today, for giving us so much great information. Once again, I encourage everyone to get over and check out John's social media presence and collect some of his work. He has some pretty famous work out there, and inkers don't always get a lot of the recognition, but they're a vital part of the comic book industry, and a lot of what you love wouldn't look nearly as good without it. So, you have anything you want to say in closing, John, before we get out of here?
Nope. Just thank you for having me on, David. And we'll have to do this again, and maybe we can pinpoint some actual, like I said, that Batman run. We haven't touched on it, so maybe we
That
can
would be
do that
great.
in the
I'm
future.
a little weaker on my DC stuff. I was more of a Marvel guy back then, so that's probably I didn't have
I hear
nearly as
you.
much any books from DC back then. But Batman was one of the few ones. I
Right.
love the Aparo and Dixon years and all that. So, but yeah, we'll have to do
Right.
some specific shows, some futures.
Well, brush up on that 8 year
Consider it done,
run.
my friend. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone
All
for
right.
watching today. Don't forget to not only like John's stuff, but also like my stuff. And I'm going to move this back and forth because it's backwards. There'll be more interviews coming up in the near future with who knows who, but someone who does something interesting and or extraordinary. So once again, this is Genome with John Beatty out.